Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're wondering why in the world am I recording next to a keyboard when this video has nothing to do with talking about music, well, it's the only spot I had good light today. I'm sorry about that. I hope this won't bother you. This week's video is one of those with extra meaning to me. It's about something that's too important not to talk about, something that many of us have in common, and it's also one of those things that does mostly damage in our lives. And what I'm referring to is taking things personally. I can't think of anything good that comes out of it, so I don't know, maybe you can think of something and tell me. The reason I think it's so important to not take things personally is because doing that clouds our judgment and creates this blockage. And this obstruction will make us act irrational, say things we don't think through, and all in all be in an ulterior state where typically only mistakes come from. Your friend, me, has struggled majorly with taking things personally. This has actually been one of my biggest crutches in life. I would venture off to say that I would be so much further along in life had I not taken things so personally all the time. And I know firsthand how easy it is for somebody to tell you, don't take things personally. But it's so hard not to do that. I'm doing this video because it was suggested by you, and you can always leave comments and tell me what you'd like me to make videos about in the future. I haven't really found a set of practical rules on how to successfully achieve not taking things personally, so I kind of took an idea from here, an idea from here, and I created my own. My goal today is to help you cut that long ass time it's taken me to figure things out and give you a shortcut, if you will, which is what I always aim to do for you in all my videos and content. But I'm not an expert. These ideas come just from personal experience, so today I'm sharing techniques and thought processes that work for me. This combination of things I've put together after years of doing research and reading a lot, from good old trial and error, and from what I've learned and practiced with my therapist. So lots of good ideas between this video and the email that was sent out to my beloved subbies the morning of this video launch. If you'd like to learn all of this, please keep watching. And for all the private subscriber-only content, you can sign up right now and I will email you the links to all the content you may have missed so far. Now I have some past references in this video, so catching up will also be very helpful. Oh, and today I will also give you a peek into an upcoming giveaway, so let's not prolong this and get started. Okay, so we don't just want to learn coping techniques. Finding ways to deal with taking things personally is good, but not great, because that doesn't mean you won't run into the same issue tomorrow or the day after. So in addition to practicing the tips I'm sharing with you today, I urge you to figure out what your triggers may be. One of the biggest reasons for taking things personally, in my opinion, comes from our own insecurities. Because when we're insecure about something, we depend a lot on others to fill that void. Essentially, we depend on other people for our happiness. We count on them to make us feel beautiful, smart, accomplished, safe, maybe even count on them for emotional and financial security. We are relinquishing the control over us and allowing a certain person or persons to tell us who we are and how we should feel, rather than us relying on what we know to be the truth about ourselves. We're basically giving away the power over us to people that should never be allowed to have it. Your happiness is yours, and nobody should ever have control over it, nobody but you. So in this journey of not taking things personally, I started off by thinking of what I'm insecure about. I wrote all those things, and then I started working toward gaining more confidence. That was a very powerful process of self-discovery and the first step toward not taking things personally. Oh, sorry. Now, I'm not in the business of regurgitating content. I prefer to give you fresh ideas in each video, so I won't go over how to gain more confidence, because I already have 4 videos live right now with tips that will serve you that purpose, and I'm linking them below for you. Those are your first steps. The second big part of the process for me was my practicing mindfulness. It's one thing to take things personally, it's another to react as a result. My lack of mindfulness didn't allow me to realize that I was taking things personally in the first place, so I was simply reacting to things. Being mindful gives us the ability to take control over our emotions in that very moment, and when we're in control of our feelings, we're in control of our outcome. In one of the past emails I sent, I shared exercises that I do to be mindful and 2 good books to read. In that email, I also shared with you the question I practice every day day. And that's what I'm going to talk about in more detail today. You hear a lot of people saying that you should live in the now, you should be present. For some reason, I had a really hard time figuring out how to live in the now. I was told to smell the roses, dance like no one's watching, center myself and be quiet with my thoughts. All fantastic ideas and quite frankly, de-stressing techniques we should all practice. But for me, none of them really worked initially. As I was getting my cage rattled, the last thing on my mind were roses and dancing. There's only one thing that broke that ceiling that I needed to break in order for the rest of these ideas to come in and really push me to a soaring progress. So what I did and still do to practice living in the now and understanding how I feel is, I ask myself, how am I feeling right now? This concept, so simple, yet most of us don't practice it because we think it's so easy, we don't need to. And then you find yourself struggling with taking things personally and wonder what you should do. Think about this as training. When you're a boxer, when you're Mayweather, you train before a fight. Otherwise, you'll get your ass handed to you when it's fight time. Now, I don't want to get my ass kicked, so I train consistently and I recommend you do too. If you don't practice mindfulness when you're in that moment when you need it, you won't know how to access it because you haven't really done it before. I ask myself, how am I feeling right now? Every day, several times. When I wake up, in the shower, as I'm driving to an appointment, during lunchtime, while I'm shopping, before going to bed, I ask, think about it, and then give myself the answer. It takes a minute. It took about 2 weeks after I first started practicing this, and then a conversation happened. The kind of conversation that in the past would have gotten me all defensive and taking things personally. Except this time, I actually started feeling myself getting agitated. I was aware. As the other person kept talking, I asked myself, how am I feeling right now? And then the most magical thing happened. In those seconds, where I was searching for the answer, I somehow stepped away from the conversation and saw things clearly. And that's when I knew I was onto something very special. Please give this exercise a try. Every day, every week, every month if you have to, until it starts yielding consistent results for you, and then keep practicing. And here's a tip. If you try this for the first time and you can't hone in on an answer because your thoughts are too chaotic, that was my problem, and it is my problem a lot of times, sometimes even when I try to meditate as well. But anyway, the easiest thing I found to silence my thoughts was to not fight them. I don't take the meditation position and try to silence all my thoughts because they only get more loud and I get more distracting and there's just a bunch of yelling going on in there. So as my head is full of this chaotic noise, what I found works for me is to start listening to the noise. I know that's polar opposite than what most people say you should do, but hear me out. When I feel distracted, I just start listening to the voices in my head, right? And what happens is, as I pay attention, distinct individual voices start becoming clearer. And as I start focusing my attention on the loudest noise, everything else seems to quiet down as if to make it easy for me to hear that thought. And as I'm done listening to it, with that thought gone, all there's left is silence in my head. That's how I'm able to quiet down my thoughts and get to the breathing and meditation and inner peacefulness that everybody talks about. Not by trying to block everything to silence my thoughts, but silence them by trying to listen to them. So I wanted to share that because a lot of friends tell me they have the same issue. So when I tell them this, it works for them. Maybe that will work for you too. Just a little tip. So anyway, as I'm in that moment that aggravates me, that conversation, and I become more aware and I emotionally remove myself for a second, the next thing I do is to refocus my attention. When we take things personally, our attention shifts from what's being said or done to how we feel. And unless we shift that attention back, those feelings will amplify, and then the rest, you know. How many times have you heard people preaching that you shouldn't take things personally if somebody says something because it's not about you, it's about them? I hear that everywhere, but guess why it's so hard to apply? Because we're not present. We're not mindful enough to realize how we're starting to feel and be able to shift that focus. Now you have a huge asset at your fingertips if you choose to do the work like I did. So as you're becoming aware of how you're feeling and you haven't had sufficient time to become fully emotional yet, refocus. Now is the time to do it. And how do you refocus? By thinking of the other person. Is that person willingly trying to hurt your feelings? Answer yes or no. If no, that will already start calming you down. Maybe their way of communicating is just different than yours. Sometimes asking a simple question along the lines of, Alex, Let me ask you real quick what you meant by that, because what you just said is kind of hurting my feelings. That right there, the sentence that can change everything. 9 out of 10 times, this solves everything for me. Before taking anything personally and giving my power away, I was aware, I refocused, brought reasoning to the table, and my issue got solved. And turned out I would have gotten butthurt for no good reason. If the answer is yes, however, and the other person meant to be hurtful, you may actually be witnessing their insecurities being displayed right in front of you. Don't allow that person to take your power away. If anything, feel sympathetic. People who take things out on other people are having really bad days. What the hell? Maybe there's something you can do to help them. In the interest of always keeping things honest with you though, I have to tell you that I usually keep it to the 3 strikes rule. If someone close to me hurts me on purpose, at strike 3 they're out. I've dropped bad friends like I dropped bad habits, and let me tell you, I used to smoke a pack and a half a day of cigarettes for 10 years. And if I can get rid of that, I can also get rid of people that are toxic. I believe that everybody deserves the benefit of the doubt, and I think that 2 strikes is a very reasonable and acceptable amount. But at 3, it becomes evident that we have a pattern here. So parting ways is critical in my opinion. Never be afraid to do that. Again, this kind of inner monologue is possible only when we're able to identify how we're feeling. Otherwise, what I'm telling you, they're just words and no progress is really made. Now, here's a quick idea that I often use as a coping mechanism when somebody I don't know or hardly know is getting under my skin. I ask myself, what does this relationship mean to me? How invested am I in this person and the relationship I have with him or her? Is this relationship worth the effort? Is it worth my time? These questions are especially great in cyberbullying cases, because my relationship with a complete stranger that doesn't know, respect, or care about me isn't worth investing in. And as I've increased my self-confidence and became more aware, this has become a lot easier. And I still get my feelings hurt. Oh hell yeah, but it's about 20% of the amount that I used to, so I think that's excellent progress. In the email I sent out the day of this video launch, I'm sharing 10 extra tips plus the biggest visual exercises that I use. One is to help get separated from the emotions. The other, my therapist taught me, and it helps with the different perceptions in communication. 2 powerful exercises that I hope will help you just as much as they've helped me. Please feel free to sign up for the email if you'd like to get that content and all the private content moving forward, and give this video a thumbs up to let me know if you liked it. Hashtag AskAlexandraP for anything, questions, feedback, video suggestions, and stay tuned for an upcoming giveaway. It will start on March 19th, and I can tell you that it will have 2 big prizes. I already started buying the different products, and I'm really excited because I think it will be better than the one that we just wrapped up. So please stay tuned and keep watching. I wish you all the good luck in the world with everything that you're setting out to do. I love you guys for watching, and I will see you in next week's video and email.